Hey, Chicago, what do you say? It's the CHGO Cubs Podcast on a scheduled off day for the Cubs. It is June 3rd. Luke Stuckmeyer, Ryan Herrera, Cody Delmendo. Cubs just finished playing the Reds. The White Sox are coming up next. And on this podcast, we have coming up in just a little bit an exciting surprise for you. One of the Cubs players is going to join us on this podcast. And so far this season, he is absolutely perfect. Initials, PH. That's all we'll say. PH. See if you can figure that out. Rough weekend, guys. You know, I said this was a 9-game stretch where they have to feast, right? And it's 9 games against the Reds and White Sox, and losing 2 out of 3 to the Reds. I know Cody was riding the emotional roller coaster, but it was not certainly the way to start this 9-game stretch.
I mean, I don't really have. You know how I said last week that I don't know what to say?
Yeah.
I still don't know what to say.
That's not good. We have hour-long podcasts every day, Cody.
I feel like when I went on that little mini rant when Ryan had joined from the ballpark, I mean, that was kind of like the clock kind of resetting. Like I'm back. I was back in the angry mode, and now I'm back into just I'm kind of numb. And if we lose, if we don't sweep the White Sox, I'm probably going to be back at the angry mode again. So and it has nothing to do with the fact that they're the White Sox. It's the fact that the White Sox have lost 11 straight games and they're not a good baseball team. And so if you're going to be a playoff team, you need to win these games, especially with how bad you've been playing. Saturday, I know the weather conditions were bad, but the defense was bad. Then yesterday, it's Ben Brown finally looks human and the offense can't pick him up, and then Friday, I mean, I'm so glad we didn't have a show on Friday because I would have came in here and just yelled about Willie Harris for 45 minutes, no less. All right. And so it was just an overall frustrating weekend, and the Reds, they haven't been playing good, man. And so it's not even like you're getting, Milwaukee, who's been playing well, or the Cardinals, who had started playing well when you went to St. Louis. You got a Reds team that has legitimately not been playing well. And Elly De La Cruz who has been their best player all season, has been slumping. He did nothing against you this weekend, and you still managed to lose 2 of 3. I mean, I thought God cried enough on Saturday. We can't win on Sunday to win 2 in a row. When's the last time his team won 2 in a row? I don't know what to say anymore. The only good thing I can say, or the positive thing I can say, is that, the pitching continues to be good, and, that's it. And the defense fundamentals, Corey and Brennan talked about it a ton yesterday, but it's got to be better, man. It's a new month. We're 1-1 in June. It better be a better record by the end of the month, man.
Ryan, didn't Counsell say something too? He kind of addressed the offense thing. He's just he still seems confident that this is a blip on the radar and the offense will be okay.
Well, for one, I think it's I think it's more than a blip in the radar. I think he's kind of acknowledged it. There's struggles, right? And that they've been going through for a long time. But yesterday, Counsell saying, our hitters are going to get hits in those spots. That will come. I promise you it'll come. But when you're going through it, it doesn't look like it. It's going to come. There's some numbers that won't continue to go this way, and we'll get those hits. And Counsell's a very even-keeled guy, I think. He doesn't get too high. He's not overtly angry for the most part after games. I think when umpires throw him out of a game for a foul tip call versus hitting in the hand call, a little more clear on just he's a little frustrated with that. But I think in his own way, he's showing the frustrations. He's showing when it's just constantly saying this will stop, this will come, this will turn. I mean, I feel like for me, I feel like I can only say that so many times myself before I start driving myself crazy.
Mhm.
But no, yeah, like at this point, it's until the front office goes out and makes moves, or younger guys in the minor leagues are ready to come up and try to contribute. That's kind of where you have to be, is you kind of have to like just have faith that the point that Jed has made and Council has agreed with is like guys do have track records. Guys that are underperforming, and some of them by a lot, do have track records of being better hitters. And like, so that gives them confidence that those guys will turn things around. Those guys will perform better and hit better. And like, and it's not even just offense, right? Like there's the sloppy play defensively. There's running it out on the base pass. Like, there's a lot going wrong. And I think at this point, they're not, someone like I tweeted something out and someone replied that they've dug themselves in too far of a hole. And it's like, no, they haven't. Like it's beginning of June. They're 2 games under 500. They're a half game out of the wild card. Like does the NL Central, like the Brewers look very far away at this point? Yes, but there's a lot of baseball left. And no, they're not in a huge hole. But I will say, yeah, like at this point, it's just like they have the belief and the confidence that these guys will turn things around and play better, because honestly, in my eyes, like at this point, that's all you have until things change as far as roster construction wise. Like all you have is that confidence in those guys to do better.
Like you mentioned roster construction, and like I'm more frustrated about roster construction or roster management in season. Like all of Cubs Twitter was like celebrating like we won the World Series when they demoted Madrigal yesterday. But they demoted Nick Madrigal to bring up David Bodie. And it's just like we are in a season where you want to see young guys who actually have a future with this team. Like if David Bodie performs, great. If I'll be happy, and if it means that that you're getting some better production off the bench, I do have confidence that he'll perform better than Nick Madrigal did. But like, how, you called Bodie up and then you start him right away. Luis Vasquez gets called up, you don't play him at all, and you gets 1 at bat and you're in a 9-2 blowout. Like, it doesn't make sense to me considering the season that we're in. You know what I mean? Like it's. I understand that playing Luis Vasquez, whether you play him as much as I would like or not, is probably not affecting a ton of wins or losses. But at the end of the day, this season to me, whether making the playoffs or not, is all about learning about some of these young guys that you have, your number 2 farm system that you keep promoting to us. Like the fact that you didn't play him at all, send him back to Iowa, and then you give David Bodie this opportunity, and then you start him the first day that he gets here, which I understand in the fact of the matchup for yesterday. I get that. But the process, the thought process of it, you know what I mean, is what is just frustrated me so much with the front office. And again, I'm not rooting against David Bodie. It's just, it doesn't make sense to me.
Well, here's where I'm going to disagree with you. Sorry, I'm going to cut you off. I'm going to disagree with you because if you want to make the playoffs, if you want to turn this thing around, it's not about playing young guys. It's about playing who's going to help you, or who can help you get wins, who's playing well and can help you get wins. And if you look at Luis Vasquez's AAA numbers offensively, not very good. Like 737 OPS. Like you'd want a guy to be hitting a lot better than that to expect him to have the kind of the performance that can really contribute to wins offensively at the big league level. David Bodie was hitting a lot better than him at the AAA level. And like I've said it, like I was surprised that David Bodie came back up. I thought something bad would have happened for him to be back up. And in a way it did, because the Cubs are playing so poorly and had such a bad May. But like I'm shocked. I was a little more shocked to see David Bodie back up. If you would have told me a year ago, I probably wouldn't have believed you, but he's hitting better. He's hitting well in AAA. He's hitting better than a guy like Luis Vasquez. And if you're Craig Counsell, again, it's just like you are going to play guys who you think are going to contribute to wins every day. Clearly, he didn't think that Luis Vasquez in a starting role was going to do that.
Well, the only thing I can say to that is that Matt Mervis has been mashing for 2 years in Iowa. And even PCA this year was not playing well in Iowa until like the last week, whenever the Cubs sent him down. And, however many days later, they realized how much of a mistake that was, and and he had a good stretch. So like, it's not that I don't take the AAA numbers seriously. It's the fact that we know what David Bote is. If David Bote completely outperforms whatever I expect, then I'll give him all the credit and I'll put my hand up and say I'm wrong here. But I don't expect to see anything different. The only thing that's, you know, that I somewhat agree with you on this, Ryan, is that like we know the role he's going to play. He's going to play third base and he's going to play against lefties, and that's it. And that's fine. That's fine. Again, it's the process to me that bothers me. And it goes back way more than just calling up David Bote. You know what I mean?
I hear you, Cody. I will say that like a week ago when I was saying I don't see any way Bodie's coming back because it's a financial thing and they won't do it. And well, it ended up being a roster move with ALLCITY, but whatever. I do think if you would have asked me straight up, who gives me my best flexibility and production at the major league level, forget development, is it Master Boney? Is it Madrigal? Is it Bote? I probably would have said Bote, even though I would say, you know, long run, that's not going to solve anything for you. But if you're trying to win 5 games this week, I'd rather have him being that flexible guy. Now, Vasquez is another question if you think that's possible. But if it's Madrigal or Master Boney, my answer is actually probably David Bote.
And that's fair.
I think Bote has had some success offensively at the big league level. It's been a few years, obviously, but
right.
And it's been a while. I mean, was it like 600 days since he was on the major league roster, something like that? Like, it has been a while. I'll give you that. But
he's the longest tenured player, isn't he? Like
Kyle Hendricks,
13 years ago.
Kyle Hendricks, but he's been in the organization. I think the longest
13 years,
11 or 12 for Bote. Yeah.
Fine.
It's just
I'm not.
Again, it's just for me. It's who's gonna like. You're not. It's not a developmental season anymore. It shouldn't be. And I get the wanting to see young guys play, seeing if they can contribute, seeing if they can provide a spark. I get that. But at the end of the day, it's who's going to be the best lineup, who's going to be the best roster, 26-man roster to help you get a win on any given day. And like I said, Craig Counsell clearly felt that Luis Vasquez up at the big league level wasn't the guy to start. And he didn't feel that starting him every day, every other day, even I don't know if he got to start, was going to help the team win a game that day. Bote got the start yesterday. It's just looking at what Craig Counsell, how he's gone about it the last couple of weeks, clearly felt that David Bote yesterday gave them a better chance to win than Vasquez any of the days that he was up. And that's why, that's why the playing time kind of went that way.
Want to make sure we got enough time for our special guest coming up. So real quick, in 1 minute, what do you expect from the White Sox series?
To be really, really annoyed. That's what I expect. I'm going to be really annoyed probably by the Cubs. And then like, if the Sox manage to win one game, it'll be like, I'll have to log off the internet for a day because it's just going to be, I hate this rivalry, to be honest with you guys. I hate this rivalry. This it's very Cubs fan of me to say that like, this isn't a rivalry, but I've really never thought it was a rivalry. This has always been if you grew up, live in Chicago, that is the rivalry. People who grew up on the South Side, people who grew up on the North Side. I didn't grow up here, man. I grew up in rural central Illinois where it's Cubs Cardinals. All right. Like whenever they play each other, the four times they do every year, like, yeah, I want the Cubs to win. But like some of the shit I see related to Cubs Sox, it's like from someone on the outside, like it's actually really ridiculous. Like, it's like, we're all Bears fans. Why are you talking shit about this person? But whatever, man. Like everyone can fan however they want to fan, but that's just how I feel. Like I hate this rivalry.
It's fun. I just don't take it too seriously, everybody. Now, what you should take seriously is Penrose Seltzer. Penrose Brewing in Geneva, Illinois. Seltz-ups, hard seltzers with real fruit, led by Lemon Seltz-up, a national gold medal winning hard seltzer with real lemons. They created our unique twist on a lemon shake-up with a house-made hard seltzer, pureed lemons for a throwback to warm weather and county fairs. Also available is the Lemon Tea-Up, a half-and-half inspired hard seltzer. Just released this year, the Transfusion Seltz-Up, inspired by a popular golf cocktail with grape, ginger, and lime. Hit me up. Penrose is available at your local beverage retailer or visit Penrose's Tap Room in Geneva. For more information, go to penrosebrewing.com or follow them on social media. That's at Penrose Brewing, PENROSE Brewing. Check them out. Nice and refreshing. The warm weather is here.
You know what else you need to check out with this warm weather? Sunnyside. Our friends at Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary are here to elevate your summer. Sunnyside is your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping. They have a crazy selection with over 100 different strains to choose from, with easy online ordering and in-store pickup. Wherever you are in Illinois, Sunnyside has a location for you. They have spots as far south as Champaign and as far north as South Beloit. Stop in the store nearest you for expert guidance from their staff or select from quality lines like Cresco or Florical. I'm picking up Mindy's Seagal's award-winning chocolates at Sunnyside. You can too by heading to sunnyside.shop and use code HICHGO. That's HICHGO at checkout for 35% off brands like Cresco, Good News, and more to elevate your first purchase. Remember, code HICHGO, HICHGO at checkout, 35% off. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary, bright buys every day, only for 21 plus or Illinois medical card holders.
All right. Now, this is what we like to call a fun Monday. We've got a special guest for you here on the CHGO Cubs podcast. It is Cubs pitcher Porter Hodge. Porter, thanks for joining us on your off day. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here.
So what do you get to do on a free day? You know, you're not at the ballpark, and here you are hanging out with three dopes like us.
Yeah, so personally, I like to just like not be lazy or just sit around because like it just doesn't really make me feel that good. So I like to go move around a little bit at the park or whatever, and just do a little bit of stuff, and then like to get a good dinner going on, maybe get some sushi or whatever, because I'm a big sushi guy. So
yeah. Have you found a good place? Have you found a good sushi place here?
I've been to one when my family came into town. It was called Sushi Mura, I think.
It's on Southport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
haven't been to that one, but no, I know which place you're talking about.
No, it was pretty good though. But I know they have good steakhouses here, so I've gone to a few steakhouses. And then me and Luke Little went to RPM's seafood the other night. So it's pretty good.
I saw in your Instagram story last night that you were at Prime and Provisions.
Yeah.
I've never been there. What's it like?
I mean, I was wearing a hat. So as soon as I walked in, they're like, "Sir, can you please take off your hat?" I was like, all right. I was like, let me go to the bathroom. I need to fix my hair. Got bad hat hair. But
relatable.
But it was good vibes, good scenery for sure. Nice low lights, but food was pretty good. Service was good. Couldn't complain.
Yeah, you can't go wrong on any of the Chicago steakhouses. There's like at least 10 of them that are all really, really good. You should have showed up in your Cubs uniform with the hat. They wouldn't have made you take your hat off then.
Funny. Yeah, actually, I've been last time I was in Chicago, I went to STK. STK's they have one in Arizona too, but that one's not as good as the one here. I don't know if it's from Chicago, but like it was just not it.
Have you tried the pizza yet? Like everyone talks about the pizza here.
Illuminati's.
Yeah.
I've had Illuminati's in Arizona. I don't know. I haven't had it here yet. I haven't had the deep dish yet here. I've had the flat, whatever it is. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, like thin crust or whatever.
Yeah.
Sorry, everyone says everything's better in Chicago anyway, so you do got to get it here.
Facts. I still need to try Portillo's.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Portillo's.
He's still getting used to everything here.
He's out of towner.
This is a pretty good city to be hanging out in the summer when you don't have games going on. So I'm jealous of you having lots of free time and being out and ready to go and hit all those restaurants. When did you get the call from the Cubs and know? I know you had to notify like family and stuff that you were coming up. Like, how fast did that whole thing happen, and how did it happen for you?
So it was, I want to say, I can't really remember the day. I think it was Thursday night. I was in Syracuse with the AAA team, and I had just got done pitching, and I was ready to go out for my second inning because like down there we usually pitch 2 innings, whatever. But then Marty said I was done. So I was like, huh, that's weird. And then I go into the locker room, and then he calls me into his office, and then just talks to me about an at-bat. And I thought that was it, because he's never called me into his office. So then I was like, huh, it's a little bit strange. And then I get back to my hotel, and pretty much as soon as I'm just chilling in my bed, he calls me and tells me I'm going up to Chicago. So I was like just really ecstatic about it. And then didn't really sleep at all. I got maybe 2 hours of sleep because like I was packing and just like so ecstatic about it. And then the next morning landed in Chicago, and that's when I really told my family and stuff. So got the word out.
You got called up. Well, like you were officially put on the active roster on my birthday, actually, May 17th.
Really?
Yes. And we do these things called Friday 120 Club, and we hang out at Murphy's before the game, and then we all sit in the left field bleachers. We have a shirt and everything, and we're trying to get a sea of green shirts out there to just, it's kind of a community building thing. But I remember you walking out to the bullpen that first time. What was it like going out there for the first time, on that day, even though you didn't pitch that day, but just like, experiencing Wrigley Field?
Dude, I mean, it's definitely the first time I've walked out with that many people there. And Wrigley Field is super cool. I've been here before without the fans, but like to finally see it with the fans is just like so cool to see it, and the vibes of everything, like especially from noticing like how the fans are at Busch Stadium and like Milwaukee. It's just a different vibe at Wrigley, I think.
Yeah. You, like Cody mentioned, you didn't pitch the first day you came. I think it was 5 days later when you finally got into a game against the Braves. But when you did come up, what was the message from Craig Counsell and the rest of the coaching staff? What was the message that they gave you about your role and how you'd be used, and just what they expect from you up at the big league level?
I mean, they don't really have a role for me. I don't think a lot of guys have roles technically. I'm just here just to do my job, get the guys out, try and strike everybody out as I can, Don't walk guys, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Sure. You definitely did the strikeout thing in your debut. I mean, when you go bing, bang, boom, and it's like three of the biggest hitters in baseball, you go right through the Braves lineup, one pitch away from an immaculate inning.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know that's going on, or is that like an out-of-body experience until after the game and you're like, I just struck out like three of the biggest hitters in all of baseball, and I dominated in my debut?
I mean, it was like when I got in there, it was just like my body was just like all over the place. My emotions, I was trying to keep them controlled. I thought I did a pretty good job of it. But yeah, the thought crossed my mind, but I wasn't very sure that it was going to be immaculate inning. But then, like, I threw that ball, and then everybody's like, ah. and then I was like, well, yeah, that was an immaculate inning. Going to be.
Did the little bit of time in between you coming up and you actually getting into the game, did that have any positive effect of like, okay, like you're not maybe nervous on your first day and getting into a game, like you're able to acclimate a little bit at the big league level, just being around the guys and then get in the game?
Yeah, I totally think that's what it was. Just like getting everybody's opinions, like just talking me through and like what to do, how to keep ready. So it was just definitely a little nice for me on my part.
Yeah. What's the you spent a lot of time in Double-A last year, correct?
Yeah.
So like this is the first year you were like getting time in Triple-A. Like what was the transition like from Double-A to Triple-A, and then now like just getting your feet wet here with the major league team? Like how is that transition, or the process of preparing changed for you?
I mean, I wouldn't really say it's preparing, because like I know I just got to trust my stuff at the end of the day. It's going to get guys out regardless. But it's just like it's more of the ABS system that you have to deal with in AAA, which is really tough. I like the challenge system a lot, but when it's the strike ball call automatic one, it just changes the whole aspect of the game. So just like realizing like you can't be, I don't know, you can't really be a reliever. You have to be more like a starter because like you have to throw it in the zone more in those at bats because if they know you're not throwing strikes or whatever, like they're good hitters obviously, and they're gonna they're gonna have more comfortable at bats. You know, they're not really gonna chase. So it's always got to be on attack mode. So I would say that's the biggest difference.
Now, in your debut, you threw mostly your fastball, right? Now,
threw all fastballs.
Yeah, what makes it so unique? I mean, it's 95, 96, whatever, but like obviously that's fast, but what makes your fastball unique? Because that's the one word I always hear when people mention your name. And this goes back to like 2 years ago when we first started hearing your name from prospect guys, and Max Bain was always dropping the name, Porter Hodge. And by the way, I love the name, cool name.
Thank you.
what makes your fastball so unique?
They love it's a cut ride, as they say, you know. It just stays, you know, how they have the pitches on like a 12 o'clock tilt, whatever, 1 o'clock. My fastball, pretty much the way I release it, it stays like at a 12 o'clock tilt pretty much the whole time. So, and then it'll just slowly cut the way I throw it slowly cuts and rides. So it's not normal, like a normal fastball where it stays with our arm and has run. So it's more effective, I guess, and I get good extension, so that helps it out a lot.
Well, clearly against the Braves, there's pretty clear signs that it was effective.
Yeah.
You know, I keep going back to like the minor league stuff, but you know, you were a 2-time state champ in high school, and then you were part of the South Bend team that won the Midwest League. Like winning, clearly you've been winning a lot over the course of your professional and even high school career. Like how's that experience like, kind of like bringing that experience of winning, bringing that to the major league team? How can that help affect other guys around you, you know, moving forward? Even though you're a rookie, even though you've been in the major leagues for a couple weeks, like how do you think that you can bring that kind of experience to help bring that to the Cubs?
I think just getting myself exposed to those things, you know, feeling the whole aspect and dynamic of the games, getting myself, like I said, exposed to like tight situations definitely helps. Getting a good vibe of everything, because like when you know you have a good vibe going on, like you're usually like a good team, you're gonna win. So I just think from experience, like it'll help me, because like I remember in Tennessee, I pitched a lot in the playoffs, so just getting in those spots will help me prepare myself for up here. Like I finally got in a good tight game against the Reds because it was tied, so just need to get more innings like that up here at least, because I've got some innings and situations like that in the minor leagues, but obviously it's different up here.
I think one of my favorite things about baseball, not just like the game, but like the whole thing, you know, the whole process, is not just the minor leagues, but that somebody who was drafted number 400 or 402, 403, like 13th round pick, somebody that was picked that far down in the draft can be a major player at the major league level. Like that doesn't happen in the NBA. They're not going to take somebody that was number 400 and turn him into a key piece of a bullpen in a rookie season. So when did that process click for you? When do you think you felt like, wait a minute, I'm not a guy that was drafted below the 10th round. I'm a guy who's going to get to the majors, and I'm not only going to get there, when I get there, I'm going to strike out the first 3 Braves I see. When did it click for you that your stuff played and it was going to work, and it was going to work at the major league level?
Well, in the beginning, when I first got drafted, like I kind of had a chip on my shoulder, because like I didn't really get exposed much in high school to the scouts and stuff, so I was like picked up late. But when I got drafted, I was like, well, I don't really want to go to college. So I was like, oh, guess I'll just do this. But yeah, I kind of had a chip on my shoulder. In the first beginning of my professional career, I kind of battled an injury, had a back injury going to COVID year. So that kind of like set me back a little bit, but not really because we didn't play. But then next year I came in a little overweight, and I called myself fat because to me, obviously I was fat. But then after that, I was just like, something needs to change. So that off season in 21, I lost 30 pounds, and I felt the best I've ever felt. And I got into good habits, got myself into good habits. And then as soon as I started doing that, I started doing much better on the field. So ever since that happened, it made me feel like I had a chance to make it, had a lot of positive feedback, a lot of stuff going my way. So just stuck with me.
I think one of the cool things is like you're up relieving now, but you obviously haven't been doing that for as long as you were a starter for most of your minor league career. And then around mid-season is when that switch kind of fully took form and you started coming out of the bullpen pretty exclusively. What, at the time, what was the conversations like as far as like you converting from starting to relieving, and what have you learned, or like the challenges or the differences between the two and stuff you had to learn to kind of make that transition?
Yeah. So last year, I kind of struggled starting the first, like 3 weeks, whatever. And then I won pitcher of the month in the Southern League the next month. And then I had one more start, and then they told me that I was going to the pen. So, because they were like, you could probably potentially help us up there in the big leagues this year out of the pen, because like we think you have good stuff, obviously. Mm-hmm. So I was like, all right, well, we'll give it a go. And then just, I know it's like I threw out a little pen out of the pen a little bit in my high school career, but it's not even the same at all. And then I threw a little bit in 21 when I came up to Myrtle Beach, but then now I had to really find like what works for me in the pen. So I was just trying to ask everybody, like, see what everybody does, like, to get them prepared. When a lot of guys just get up and start throwing, I'm like, dude, how do you guys even do that? Like, I'm coming from the starting role. Like, there's no way I can do that. So, like, I just think finding what works best for me in the bullpen to get myself ready. It's gotten a little easier. I found that if I just move around, keep moving around, like my body will always be ready to go. Because like, if you stay warm, it's pretty easy to start throwing when you're warm. So,
yeah. I was listening to Justin Steele's podcast, and there was one episode where he was talking about when he first came up and how the Cubs used him out of the bullpen, and he used the word anxiety. Like he said it was like, when you start every fifth day, it's in some ways it's easier because when you're in the bullpen, he always had that anxiety of like, having to come in. I don't remember exactly how he put it, but I just remember him using the term anxiety. So like, do you have a similar type of anxiety or a similar feeling in terms of anxiety, I guess, compared to like starting?
I wouldn't say it's anxiety. I would say it's more of an adrenaline rush, more than anything. I think just the adrenaline makes you have anxiety. I think maybe because like you just start overthinking stuff, like you're just like starting to go, and then if you don't slow yourself down and like realize what's going on, then that's when you can get anxiety for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I'm still thinking you lost 30 pounds. Like, what were you eating, Porter? And now what are you eating to have that body transformation as a professional athlete? That's unbelievable to lose that much weight.
Yeah. I don't know how I got that big. I just was like, wasn't even realizing what the bad habits I had really. The food I was eating, how much I was eating. But I just like started going to Costco, just dropping a lot of money on bulk food and prepping, eating like every 2 hours. And after that, I started working out twice a day. And I was working because obviously we didn't make good money at all. So I was like, I can't make a living doing just baseball. So I would work too. So trying to fit that around in my schedule. Like, I know I was always on the go. So that made me lose that weight too.
So was there a point where you're working there and you're trying to lose weight that you're like, this isn't going to happen, even though you had a chip on your shoulder at the beginning?
I never liked the self-doubt. So just like, you always got to keep the positive mindset, I think. Because like, if you're always thinking that stuff, like it's obviously not going to happen, you know? And I've always like dreamed it, like envisioned it. So like that just helps in my opinion.
Now that you've been up for a couple weeks now, what have you learned from, whether it's guys in the bullpen, the Hector Nearises of the world, and seeing how they go about, coming out of the bullpen, relieving, doing that job, but even just guys around the clubhouse, being around them, what have you kind of learned about how to, have success or just exist at the major league level?
Just like, if you stay on top of your routine and like, you're not really like sitting around being lazy or whatever, getting stuff done, like it'll affect this on-field stuff. From a lot of guys I've talked to, it's just like finding the best routine for you, like always being, if you're not ready to throw, find a way to be 1% better so you're able to throw. So just like doing whatever works best for you to be ready on the field always.
Is there one particular teammate that you kind of gravitated to since you got here?
Well, Luke's been my boy in the minor leagues, so obviously we just hang out. That's who I went to dinner with last night. But Mark's been really good to me. He's talked to me the most, so it's been nice to have him there and get his point of view on everything. So
I met Luke's dad at spring training. Are you guys' parents close?
Eckford's the GOAT. His parents are good people.
Yeah.
We in 21 or 22, we were in Myrtle together, and we went to Charlotte on our off day because that's where he's from, and we hung out there. So pretty close with his parents.
Nice.
Can you also relate to somebody like Kyle Hendricks, who was pitching for the Cubs when you were like 13 years old?
We were talking about that when he graduated. I was 7 years old. Graduated high school.
Wow.
It's yeah. Kyle's the man. I love Kyle. I haven't really talked to him much about everything because his way of pitching is very different compared to everyone, because he's got a spot up. So, and he was a starter, he's got damn near 1,500 innings in the bigs. So I haven't really talked to him much about the pitching aspects, but he's a good dude.
It is kind of funny, just with the age difference, you're both kind of learning, relieving for the first time at the big leagues at the same time, despite the fact that he debuted 10 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just, the way he's been going about it, because like the way he had a workload as a starter is he's been touching the mound every day, basically. So I was like, dude, I can't do that right now. My arm's not built up for that. So
who, I guess player wise, when you were growing up, it's not that long ago, but who were players that you watched, liked, wanted to emulate, like growing up? Was it pitchers? Was it position players? Who gave you that spark to be like interested in playing baseball?
I don't really have a pitcher in mind. People always ask me about pitchers, but like I didn't really we didn't have cable growing up, so like we didn't really watch a lot of sports. But my first city league team was the Red Sox, so I liked the Red Sox, and then I just started watching the Red Sox here and there. But like I liked the Red Sox when they had Ortiz, Youkilis, and Napoli. So I even told Napoli that when we were in Cubs Con. So it was just funny.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, being from the Salt Lake area, like there's no big league team really close to there. Like how do you
I can like whoever I want. You can give me shit for it.
No, I was just gonna ask, like, how like as a kid you get into the game when it's baseball's always been kind of a regional sport, and like how do you get in the game when there's not that team that close to you and kind of influencing you as a kid as you grow up and then start loving the sport?
I don't know. I think they've always just been pretty good, and like I like to watch them in the postseason and stuff. It's just I like the players on that team, so it's just like kind of stuck with me. My mom liked them, We just like always became Red Sox fans, because like everybody likes the Dodgers or the Yankees and whatever. So I wouldn't even say there's a decent amount of Cubs fans in Utah too. So it's mainly just those three teams, but and the Braves. But like everybody always gives each other crap for that. Like just Yankees are the basic teams.
Yeah. There you go.
As long as you didn't say Cardinals or Brewers, that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that'd be kind of weird. Brewers and Cardinals fans in Utah.
What's when you realized that pro baseball was something like that, like was there a particular pitcher at the time that you were like kind of not necessarily emulating, but like kind of watched more? Like I know, like was he on the Red Sox or just someone out there that maybe once you realized that pro baseball was something you could really do?
I would probably say Corbin Burns, especially when I was a starter, because like we have his cutter is very similar to my fastball. So just seeing the way he goes about a business and like the way he would use his stuff, kind of emulate my stuff a little bit.
Okay.
Right.
Porter, what's the goal the rest of this season? I mean, we're only a couple months into the season. You got a lot of baseball left to play. I mean, obviously you guys are trying to get it turned around here and get in a steady pace towards the playoffs. But for you personally, like where do you want to grow this season? How do you want to see your season play out?
Yeah, I mean, it would definitely be nice to be up here, but I know things happen. But like if I keep doing my job, like I'll probably stay up here. So it'll be good just to stay on top of my stuff and like get the job done when my name's called and like see how it goes. But like for me, I think just from strike one to finishing the batter, like not having long at bats will help me down the road. Keep my pitch count down, keep me fresher. So just staying healthy throughout the year is another goal of mine. So
is an immaculate inning? Is that on the goal list as well?
I mean, that's everybody's goal, I feel like.
We'll get there.
What do you like to do when you're back home in the off season and just kind of hanging out? Is there another passion of yours other than just baseball?
So when I'm in Utah, I like to go hunting, camping and fishing. So I try and get all that in before it starts getting crappy weather. But it's kind of hard because as soon as I'm done here, it's usually starting to snow a little bit in the mountains, but that's what makes it fun. Right. I like to read, just enjoy the outdoors really also.
Has it been kind of a tough transition going from being like, an outdoors Utah kid to you're living in Chicago, a big city? Like the culture and everything is completely different. Has that been kind of a little bit of a huge transition for you?
Yeah, it's just like this is a freaking huge city. It's definitely tough because I'm so used to seeing the mountains like right there, like, and you don't really see any of that here at all.
No,
right. Even in the Midwest
to be seen.
But that's why I liked Tennessee a lot. Tennessee was probably my favorite place because like that reminded me a little bit more of home. Tennessee is like super cool. Iowa's very mid at best.
In every way.
In every way.
Actually, yes. 100% mid. Right there in the middle.
But it's a cool city. I like Des Moines. It's cool.
Yeah.
You know?
Porter, I had just one more question myself. Is just where the Cubs are kind of in this mode of like the last couple of years rebuilding and retooling and trying to get back to the playoffs. And like, that's obviously a goal for the team this year. But a lot of that, they hope, comes from the young guys that have come through the system, the minor leaguers who are starting to make their debuts or are close to making their debuts. What have you seen watching this farm system sort of evolve the last couple of years from, didn't maybe as far as farm system rankings, like middle to lower in baseball? Now they're one of the best farm systems in baseball. What have you seen, and what are you seeing from the group of guys in that system that are either here already or on the way?
I mean, from the get-go, in 21, not really. We kind of struggled in the minor leagues, but then 22, like, it just literally flipped the script. We started winning. So, like, every team I've been on, we just won. I've been on every team I've been on with Owen Casey and BJ Murray. Like, we just been on, like, it's crazy how much we've won. Like, I'm very thankful that my minor league career has been like that, because I know a lot of guys don't get the opportunity to do that. So, and I know it's not like that. So it's definitely nice, but like, we have a lot of talent, and it's super exciting how many guys are making their way up, coming through the system. You know, me being one of those guys, it's very hard. Obviously, there's a lot of guys to beat out, or like, you could get your job taken. But I know we have a lot of talent coming up, so it'll be fun to see what the Cubs do.
My last question, is the hype real on Cade Horton? Is he going to be like, is the hype that he's getting, like, Cub fans are like comparing the hype to like when Mark Pryor first came up like 20 years ago. Like,
yeah, I mean, last year Cade was super dominant when he came into Tennessee, and he was a good arm for us. I didn't really get to see him much this year. But I know he's hurt right now, so don't really know what's going on for him. But yeah, it was really fun to watch him pitch, especially in the playoffs last year.
I mean, I wouldn't have expected you to say anything else.
Yeah, right.
I just wanted to hear you say it, actually.
Yeah, the hype is real. I'll put that in that headline.
Porter, how about a position player that you've seen where you're watching it bat and you're like, oh man, glad I don't have to face that guy?
I mean, BJ Murray's got a damn good eye, I will say. Like, he doesn't really chase a lot. But even just Owen Casey, like, he's just always like hitting bombs. He's always hitting bombs. He's got a really good swing, and just, I don't know, whenever he's in the box, you always know it's going to be good, I feel like.
Yeah.
That's good. Hey, man, this has been fun. You like baseball, you like hunting, and hopefully by the end of this, you're okay at least with some of the CHGO Cubs podcast. Will you hang out with us again sometime?
For sure. Whenever you guys want.
Awesome. He said whenever we want. I mean,
he said it.
Locked in on that one, though. No, you can't take that back.
On the internet. Thanks, Porter. Appreciate it. Have a great rest of your off day, and good luck the rest of the season. We hope to see you out at the ballpark.
Thanks for having me.
Circa Sportsbook. Guys, I took Ben Brown over 6.5 strikeouts yesterday. He finished with 6. This is gambling. It can be great and it can be all like painful. All right. But at least when you're doing it on Circa, you're having fun. All right. And one reason is they have tight money line splits.
Oh yeah.
The games strive to be -110 splits on the Circa Sports menu. Unlike other sports books, which may use -115 or -120 splits, Circa Sports keeps as little money as possible on large market bets, especially compared to other books. They don't limit players based on their winnings either. Every player has the same limits, unlike other books who do limit winning players, especially when they get on one of those little hot streaks. They take away those boosts. They take away those opportunities for extra money, stuff like that. Circa won't do that. But they do encourage you to download and explore other sports betting apps available so you can compare those lines from each sports book, and you'll see just how much better the odds are for Circa. And then finally, their customer service is second to none. Me and Braggs met up with like their entire team at Murphy's on Friday. Very nice people. But their customer service back in Las Vegas at their Resort and Casino is they're wonderful people. They're easy people to talk to. They're not chatbots. That's the big thing. They're not chatbots. All right. So everything is run by them back at their Circa Sportsbook at Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas. So download the Circa Sports Illinois app at circasports.com/Illinois-app to sign up today. Also be on the lookout for Circa events, watch parties, and tailgates. They're with us for every Cubs Friday 120 club. Next one, I believe, is June 14th against the Cardinals. So if you or someone you know may have a problem with gambling, call 1-800-GAMBLER, text GAMB to 833-234, or visit areyoureallywinning.com.
I love tight money line splits, and I love Blue Moon. Some beers can say they're brewed for baseball. Only Blue Moon is brewed by baseball. Beer and baseball just go together, and no beer goes better than the one that was literally born in a ballpark. Blue Moon, created at Coors Field in Colorado. It's a natural choice all season long. It is summertime shy. Get out and enjoy a Blue Moon. Nothing beats watching baseball or lounging by the pool or sitting on somebody's rooftop with an ice cold Blue Moon. Blue Moon, brewed by baseball to give you a dose of nostalgia and get you excited for this season. A beer this good only comes around once in a Blue Moon, but you can enjoy it all season long. Bring the ballpark to you with Blue Moon Belgian-style wheat ale. It's one of a kind every time. Get Blue Moon delivered by visiting get.bluemoonbeer.com/CHGO to see your delivery options. That's get.bluemoonbeer.com/CHGO. Blue Moon, made brighter. Celebrate responsibly. Blue Moon Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. All right, guys. So, here we go. This is it. Cubs White Sox. And we want to remind everybody that not only might Porter Hodge be pitching in that game, big thanks to him. He was great. Hope he's going to have an awesome season, right?
Yeah.
What a hero he is to us.
He's our new best friend.
He's already our best friend.
Speaking of friend of the program, Ben Zobrist is also at Wrigley yesterday. So
he keeps coming back, man.
Everywhere.
And I keep texting his guy, and I'm like, when are you guys coming back in? And he's like, we're coming back in. I promise you. We're heading back to Tennessee immediately, stuff like that. But yeah.
We got to get him at a Friday 120 club. Hey, speaking of that, the big takeover, the first takeover of the season, Crosstown, tomorrow. You can still get those tickets at allchgo.com. We've got the crossover or Crosstown takeover coming up tomorrow night. So we got a section. Let's make it all Cubs fans. Can we just make it Herb, Sean, and all of us, kind of like it was last year? So when you have the epic Morel walk-off, it feels good. It was probably the highlight of the year last year. Am I right, Cody?
Outside of Mike Togman's catch in St. Louis.
Yeah. But I mean, in person, that was like
I mean, we got to see a magical home run in that game too.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Luke, like now you're not gonna be able to look over. Like
I know, I can't
like magical home run.
Well, this time I'm gonna have to be look out, Herb. Here comes the Bodie home run, and here comes the Morel walk off.
No, I tweeted out the link. So if you don't know where the link is, I tweeted it out. I'm sure Cody's gonna put it out again from the Cubs account or his account, or both. But yeah, I mean, I obviously was in the press box last year.
Yeah.
While you guys were in what I believe the same section, watching the game, but I could see like there's always a lot of people that show up for those events.
Oh yeah,
not even just our event, but just those games in general. And yes, that Morel walk off in person was one of those moments that even I was like, "Holy crap, that was insane."
I don't know if you guys know, but if you want to come to all three of our takeovers, you can. We have like a price you can get like on our website,
right?
To go to all three.
Also
obviously, right. And so like if you want to go to all three and just pay the price up front now, like that's possible, or you can just get the ticket for tomorrow. We're doing a pregame meetup at Murphy's. Someone already asked me on Twitter if you need a ticket to the takeover to even come to Murphy's. Like no, if you already have a ticket to the game but you want to come hang out with us at Murphy's, that's fine too. Like but obviously we'd love anyone to buy the ticket, that way they hang out with us at the ballpark too. So
all right, we got to go. Big thanks to Porter Hodge. No podcast on Tuesday because we're going to be at the takeover. We'll be back with a podcast live for you Wednesday night. Thanks for checking out the CHGO Cubs podcast. We appreciate it. Until next time, fly the W.
We all silly like the mayor.